Hello and welcome to the Home Care Millionaire Podcast, the show where compassion meets prosperity. I am Paul Tembande alongside my beautiful wife Joan here. We're honored to be your hosts. Together, Joan and I have built a home care agency from a little over $12,000 credit card loan. Okay, some people called it a gamble at that time. We've built it into an 8-figure business serving thousands of families over the years. And now we're here to share the lessons, strategies, and the mindset shifts that help us get there so that you can too.
We launched this podcast because the home care industry is often misunderstood. Too many people don't see the sacrifices owners and their caregivers make every single day, or the powerful impact agencies have on seniors and their communities. And truthfully, we looked around and realized there were not many podcasts out there shining a light on this industry. So we felt called to create the Home Care Millionaire Podcast.
This podcast is designed for the purpose-driven provider. For those of you who feel called to care, but also want to build a thriving, sustainable business. Each week, we're going to share with you real-life stories, proven strategies, and powerful mindset shifts that will help you move from just surviving to thriving.
Absolutely. Our tagline says it best. Compassion is your calling, wealth is your reward. And here on the Home Care Millionaire Podcast, we're going to show you how to embrace both.
So get ready for inspiration, practical insights, and the encouragement you need to impact lives, build wealth, and create a legacy through your agency. So hit subscribe, folks. Join us on this journey to transform your business, your mindset, and your future. Welcome, folks, to the Home Care Millionaire Podcast. It's an honor, really, to welcome a good friend, John Spang, and John's right-hand person, Kandi, to the podcast today. John has been in business for almost 20 years. Wow. It'll be 20 years in March, serving so many people. With Kandi's help, they've been able to do so much in Florida to serve seniors and really look out for seniors with heart. And so we're so happy to have them here today to share with us their journey, what they've done, some challenges. I know John talked about he started one way, changed, and then came back. So all of that we're going to hear today. And some nuggets also in terms of that some folks, our audience listening and watching us can kind of take away from this. So that's what it is that you want to say.
Yeah. So again, welcome, John and Kandi. We're so excited to hear your story and all the nuggets you're going to share with our audience today. So why don't we just jump right ahead and get started with some questions for both of you?
Yes. So welcome aboard, John. I'm going to just start real quick here and just say, I know you've been at this for a long time. What got you into this industry?
Well, I'll tell you, I was in I was kind of a corporate job for a while, and I always hate, when it came to evaluation time, sometimes you got good ones, sometimes you got bad ones. It was all whether or not they liked you. And I finally got fed up with that. And I finally said, I wanted to have my report card based on the consumer. And I have an econ undergrad and an MBA from Georgia Tech. And so anyway, you hear all the other stuff about, about this and that in terms of, doing a business and doing that. So I said, it's time. And I'd been in a position that I had been involved with a lot of different aspects of a smaller business, maybe 500 employees, in a manufacturing industry, and so that, and I just said, I have all this experience in different things, in different aspects, and I said, I'm going to take that and run with it, and I'll let the consumer decide if I want to be successful or not. So that's why I started looking around, and I went through a number of different franchises that I looked at and whatever else, local pinch a pennies and some other things, pool companies, again, looking for something that in Florida was going to had a lot of need. And when I looked at those, ran out the numbers, it wasn't going to get me where I needed to go. But I was going to work about twice as hard. And so demographics, I looked at the demographics, and at the same time, my parents had actually gone through some difficult times with health-wise. They had actually brought in some people, a thing down into the Palm Harbor area down near Tampa. And my dad, who, wasn't a big fan, he he couldn't say enough about, the home care person that they had. And in fact, when my mom, she ended up having cancer, my dad brought them in for 12 hours a day, so he could get some rest. And then literally when my dad, he ended up with pulmonary fibrosis, and then he ended up with some difficult times himself. He brought back the same caregiver for him. So he was sold on it. And obviously, our involvement with that ended up shedding a very positive light in terms of what this was. And so as I looked into it further, and obviously it was a budding industry at that point. It was a fairly new, and it had a lot of room for expansion. As I looked around, I said, that seemed like it was the best opportunity for where I'm at. Obviously, Florida, a lot of older people, Ocala area, which, not affluent, is I think a decently middle class area. Here that had some larger senior populations. And so to me, it looked like, from my econ background, it looked like this could be a good place to go. In fact, I still remember Larry Meggs as he handed me my thing in training, my packet. He says, "This area looks like it'll be a good area for you." Wow. I still remember that, those guys, that gave me those positive responses. So I thought we were going down the right pathway. And so from there, again, it's done well. And it hasn't been, there you go. Without a lot of bumps along the way. And I can tell you more about how we started and whatever else, but I'll leave it at that. That's how I got into it, was to be the best opportunity to do something that was both heartwarming, where you're helping people, but also, as we both know, it generates a lot of revenue. And so find that happy medium between the two, and that was always what it was about.
Wow. That is great. And I was going to say also, because I know you served, didn't you, John? You served in the you served.
That was an army. I was an army captain. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service. I was saying, coming from that service background I think this kind of spoke to you, didn't it? Because this is about service, isn't it, Kandi? This is about service, yeah.
Well, from my quick response was, in the military, I was always about, quality, and they always stressed quality and doing this and training and doing those things. And so I brought that along. Because my bottom line, and Kandi's a huge believer in the same thing. We was always about quality, and so anyway, so we mashed up pretty well between the two of us, and I'll let her tell you her perspective on things.
Okay, go ahead, Kandi.
I'm pretty simple, so I think it's all about, for me, I had a medical background, so and that was really what I was headed towards, and I decided at the very end of watching so many people come home from the hospital and us not asking what they were going to do when they got there, and just really dealing with the elderly every single day, that, we were missing a piece in the puzzle, and Visiting Angels just happened to be the piece in the puzzle. And so, getting people home and filling in for family when they don't have that, it really spoke to me. I didn't want to chart and give meds for the rest of my life. And that's really how I felt, not to minimize nurses at all, but just, in that hospital field and what they were going through and, their difficulties, we're missing the care part. And so, they're so understaffed and, underappreciated and overworked and all those fun things that, it's hard for them to really be able to, take the time to show the care and take the time to listen to people. And, this kind of fit the bill all kind of perfectly right at the right time. It literally fell in my lap. So I met John, and, we had mutual friends, and it just kind of really worked out. So, yeah.
Wow. I'm going to ask this. Go ahead, John.
I'm just saying, she fell in our lap, but she's really been a what are they? Some manna from heaven.
Lifesaver, huh? Yeah.
Sometimes you get that person that comes in, and I think we can all agree. Anybody that's been successful, it's not because I worked hard early and put in a lot of hours, but I'm the guy that that made the huge difference and could really sustain it. And Kandi has really been that person that came in and has not only grown it, but has the efficiencies that she's brought in and the know-how and the can-do attitude. So So she has been a superbly welcome addition. And had it not been for her, I'd still be working, the 8 to 5 or 8 to midnight gig.
Yeah, I know.
Way to go, Kandi.
I know.
Awesome.
You're. I gotta say this, John. You're blessed. You're blessed. I mean, you have Kandi. How did you? Again, I'm gonna ask this. I know Kandi touched on it a little bit. So how did you find Kandi? A lot of us. Hey, listen, it could help someone. I mean, John and I are looking.
Well, would you want to say or not?
It's really, I mean, it was a personal connection. My kids as godparents actually met with John about taking this position in the sense that they knew that she had a lot of the right experience in the management kind of piece and all of that. And so they really kind of had that conversation. And she called me later on that day and she literally said to me, Kandi, I sat here and talked to John the whole time, and I knew of John and his wife. They both had done a lot of community things, especially John.
Okay.
And so I knew of them in those circles.
Yes.
Just had never really, obviously, met them. And so she said, I just left John's office, and I met with him, and we talked. And she goes, the whole time he was telling me about what he wanted, she goes, the only thing I could think about was Kandi is the person he needs.
Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we talked on the phone, and then, we talked on the phone for, a while, a couple of hours, I think. Sure. And then I ended up coming and meeting the whole staff during an annual training meeting.
With my entire, at that point it was probably like 5,
Well,
yeah.
Hey, John, that's still a big team, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But my thing is if we're bringing somebody in, I wanted everybody to have their chop on. Yeah. But if there was some kind of an issue, I wanted to know about it. And so that was my thing. It's like, okay, now talk, speaker forever, hold your peace, because you got an opportunity. Like I said, they all sat down for 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it was. And,
grilled me.
And everybody loved Kandi. And so it's like, perfect. And she was. So she
there you go. But I gotta say this, John. Kandi's a wonderful person. I mean, we've met her a few times. I mean, just a charming lady, and so you're blessed, my friend. You're blessed, my friend. We're doing
and I will tell you this also. The minute we brought her on, it was we had talked about. She brought her on as the
community liaison. I did all the intake and marketing.
Oh wow!
So
she didn't come in.
It was very on the down low. Like the whole staff didn't know about any of those previous conversations that were even discussed or any of that. So I kind of was able to come in and really watch the business operate for like a year. And then I went through all of the same hoops of, talking with John and Ian and business, conversations and having like, those real kind of what are your plans? What do you want to do? What do you, what is your future picture for the company? And if I said right now, like, what's your business plan? Let's see it. So I still went through all of those hoops, even after being here and having no idea if I was going to take the company over at the time. For, a little over a year. And then, so then I was able to really kind of see the inner workings, which I think was great. I mean, I could have never done it any other way because I got to hear all the things without them knowing that, I was going to end up being their boss and see a lot of things from the inside without anybody trying to hide things from me. So, it was a great opportunity to kind of get the inside track so that when I did take over, it was, I could really put in a lot of things right to play right then.
Yeah. And none of those people are currently here.
Oh, okay. Well, but listen, Johon,
but anyway, now the other thing what I did when I brought Kandi on, again, and again, we always thought, Kandi was going to be great, but you never know, as Kandi has now discovered, and going through the hiring process that she had to do, everybody comes in and they're going to be great, except, a lot of times they're not. But the first thing we did with Kandi was, she got the whirlwind tour of everything. I mean, we took her to, Pat and Trey would call us up. Hey, I'm going to be speaking up. And here I said, it's like, hey, let's go. So we got in the car, drove to Charleston, and
that's right.
We drove to Atlanta to another one. And we did the business builder and she went on a whirlwind tour about 4 or 5 different things or more. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Met everybody and got as much exposure as I possibly could. So
exactly.
That is
So that's great. So it was really good. That's where we met. What's his name?
Angelo Spinola. Yeah.
Spinola, if you're familiar with him, he does a lot.
Okay.
So anyway, anyway, that's more of the flavor.
Yeah.
No, John, you did it right. You did it that way. When with Kandi getting on board and taking it on, she kind of knew what she was doing, which is really good. And she's doing a heck of a job at it too. I mean,
and she got to learn about me too. When you're stuck in a car for about 8 hours, you're stuck in a car for about 8 hours, John, and then we got a flat tire as a bonus.
Well, that's part of the journey, isn't it?
The journey.
Yeah, that was definitely the journey. Yeah, you got it. So anyway, that was it. And you can see how I would react to a flat tire. Did I go off? Did I get crazy, or did I, just say, "Oh, crap"? It's like, all right, well, we're gonna...
It's always been a good.
Yes.
For the most part, for me, I think you have a good match when you come into something, and I never had to worry about loopholes and taking advantage of people and contracts and, not always doing the right thing. And so I think, knowing John and Ian were both kind of that, and, you creep around that in the beginning, right? When you first start working with people and you're just like, okay, so what should we do about this? And you don't want to be the person that says, yeah, this is going to cost us $700 to fix this garage door, but I think it's the right thing to do. Right. But it's kind of one of those things where you kind of have to test the waters. And I think that's what made it so easy, because he knew that I knew if I called him and said, John, we really need to do this, that he would be right behind me and not have an issue. So I think, the partnership of our morals and values, from the get-go, they were synchronized. So it was really easy, so that we didn't have to go over a lot of those hiccups, so.
Yes. Oh, wow. That is awesome. Now, I'm going to go back to one thing that I know you guys you did. I know John told me that when we met the last time. You guys, John, you started as a W-2 company, is that correct?
We started and then
employer-based, that's right. Okay.
So we started out as employer-based, and again, when you start, you don't know pretty much squat.
That's right. We did the same thing.
I can spend more time on and I'll just say, we didn't have our first. We started in like March. We didn't have our first client till August, so it took us 6 months to get our first. And I was the only one working. There was. When you're the only person, you had the.
That's because you didn't have any clients.
Yeah. Well, that was true. I was actually teaching college.
Okay.
I was a college professor part-time while I was operating, while I was bringing it up. And I would have to, sometimes, again, I would get a call, whatever else, and get a lead. And it's like, okay, we're going to call. And they say, okay. So I'd have them take a break. I'd go ahead and get a caregiver there, and then I would say I'll be following right up. I'll be there after my class.
But it was so early in the industry, I think, and that's the big thing for John, is that it was so early in the industry as a whole that there really wasn't a playbook of this is how you do it right. So you guys did it the way you do it.
Right. Well, yeah. So anyway, but I'm trying to think of what you were talking about. We got it back to the employee.
Because you went from employee to independent, right? I mean,
we started employee base, and then again in Florida, there was a large number of the people, and the more active agencies. We're all contract, and so
registries.
So we're with the nurse registries, exactly. And so anyway, I looked at that and I said, all the knowledge here is based on the registries. So again, it's like, okay, I need to do that. So it's like,
that's right. That's right.
And so I went that direction, and I stayed that direction until
Kandi got here.
Well, no, until Obama. Until Obama got, we were in those years.
Okay.
And again, I didn't feel safe at night sleeping, fully knowing that we were operating hybrids. They really weren't nurse registries. We were everybody was doing hybrids, and we were looking for the right model. Correct. And so it's like, I knew we weren't there, and I wasn't going to go ahead and tell people lies, to get hours and whatever else. And so I said, we need to make the change. And of course, Kandi was coming in at the same time, and so she got changing it over. And so, of course, she did a great job on that. And
good job, Kandi.
It's not always the easiest thing, because
no.
The bigger you get, the harder it is.
Yes.
Well, 2014, so that was right ahead of 2014, and right ahead of the Homemaker Companion exemption.
Yes.
So the live-ins were becoming a thing of not being able to bill those daily rates and all the things that we had always done. And so, there was so much change coming in that, with the ACA coming along and, just all of these things. And so when he said, we got to change back, and I was just like, okay, but that's also when we brought on board a lot of our electronic, like we kind of went paperless before people even thought about paperless.
Kandi went paperless.
Way to go, Kandi. Way to go.
I give her all the credit.
Way to go.
So anyway, so
and that was in 15. So
we had a whole room of file cabinets, as you could probably attest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, and Kandi, through her knowledge and hard work,
got rid of them all.
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know if there's one left in there or not. Yeah, but anyway, so that's now expanded our room.
We have a massage room.
Conference
Oh,
room.
wow, you got a massage. Okay.
So,
oh, wow.
That's what that room, the supply and file room.
Yeah, is gone. And now we have the health and tranquility room for our caregivers.
There you go.
Wellness center.
That is nice.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how we ended up, going, flipping from employee to nurse registry and nurse registry back to employee. Mm-hmm. And again, we always felt it was the right thing to do. And again, we always go back to that same thing, like Kandi was saying, what was the right thing to do? And so that's what we constantly go back to. And that's been our
philosophy
from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
What's the right thing to do? Quality always sells. That's why there's Rolex. That's why they're not the cheapest thing in town.
No.
It always sells, and the people we sell to appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. They can tell quality. I mean, John and Ken, just so you know, we also went through that. I think when we started out, we started as a 1099.
Right.
Yeah, we started as 1099 because it just made sense. I think most people were doing that back then, and the bottom line, it just felt better, so we did that. And then that slip of night thing came to us. So wait a minute, if we get audited, how are we going to be able to justify this? No, seriously.
Sure. The whole nurse registry had its own vernacular or terminology. It was an entirely different animal because you spent more time relearning what to call things so they would seem like
they're your employees. Yeah.
Yes.
You can't dress them as employee type words.
You can't train. You can't tell them to go here. You
can't.
Right.
Yeah. The whole thing, and so it's like any sales thing. You're selling against whatever it is, and so again, for us, it's like, hey, the rest of you guys can stay nurse registry. We're happy to go because again, those people that are looking for it, this is what we can provide you, and in the end, even through all, through our second one, a lot of people felt, oh my God, if I do this, I'm gonna get killed. And to this day, some of the nurse registries down here just don't feel that they will be competitive, so they haven't switched.
Oh, man.
But again, Larry and Pat Dre, who I loved, they brought me down and said, can you talk to a group of the things? And I brought it down. I brought my numbers down. I showed them the numbers and said, we're doing about as well as we were doing before.
There you go. See?
And so making the switch for us was a peace of mind. It wasn't an easy switch, but at the same time, it happened, and it didn't cost us. Yes. But what it did is it allows us to sleep at night because what are you going to do? Because apparently, rumor has it, I don't know, but there was a nurse registry down here that the Department of Labor came down on pretty hard. And I haven't seen them since. I'd ask Kandi because it's like, whatever happened to this?
So yeah.
I heard they got hit by the Department of Labor and
IRS.
And it's big money.
Wow.
Well, when you think about it, if you're not paying overtime, now you got to pay over the overtime, which then increases one thing after another. By the time you get done with it, it's like you're calling one of those IRS firms, trying to get your taxes.
No, I mean, and I think you're right, and I think John and Ken, I think your agencies at this point, because you have more, than one, that it's better, you're better for it, because at the end of the day, it's control. If you don't have control over your folks, we do, right? How you gonna be able to get stuff done though? I mean, so you have to have control, and the only way you can have control is if you're an employer, right? So I mean, all those things. we felt the same way. John and I felt the same way. Did you want to say something, John?
Yeah, and at the same time, it works out better for your caregivers.
It does.
Because you are deducting the taxes. We had a situation, this caregiver came crying. She was owing upwards of $13,000 because she worked for a registry. So she didn't know much about the tax system and all of that. She felt like, okay, I got my great check. And then IRS caught up with her.
She kept all the money, John and Kandi.
Never paid or whatever.
In fact, we had years ago, John and Kandi, we had this one caregiver who it was Medicaid at that time when we started out. So she was taking care of her mom, who was getting, I think, 12 hours a day or 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, mom. Dad was getting, I think, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. She was doing all that work. I mean,
Yeah.
And so she again, it was 1099. She was getting all this money, and not saving any for taxes, right?
Right.
And then we switched shortly thereafter because we found out it wasn't the way to go. So we switched. I mean, we're talking 20 years ago now.
Sure.
And then later on, the IRS came looking for her. Would you believe that?
Yeah. Oh, sure. It happens.
They don't forget things. They're on it.
They don't forget things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So again, it's in their best interest. Some of them don't realize it again because you're right. They just don't. They don't know about taxes. And early on, I will tell you this. One of the things, we have an annual meeting, probably like everybody. And so one of the things we brought in the CPA, the company that we were working with the CPA to answer any and all the questions, we talk about that. And then we were making the switch. We brought her in and she did a presentation on again, what the differences are. And just so they could understand it, because we wanted to be an informed consumer or informed taxpayer now of how it had to work. And again, it goes back to what was the right thing to do. And it's to try to educate them so that, we want to take care of them, but sometimes they have to be educated so they can make the right decision themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So true. No, I agree. I agree. Absolutely. John and Kandi, I know you guys have been so successful and we're happy for you. What are some nuggets? What are some I would say takeaways, if you will, that you might want to leave with our audience here today? What has really been the key or keys, if I may add, to your success so far? I know John, Kandi has been a big part of it. I give that.
The man from heaven.
But
you want more money. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You are.
Anyway, No. I mean, obviously, you have to have a good person in charge. Whoever it is, whether it be me, whether it be Kandi, you got to have somebody in charge who can motivate the people to do things. And and for me, again, I did well my first the first 10 years or so, and and again, I'm just a different person than Kandi is. Kandi will get in, and, well, she will get in, and I need to be doing scheduling. I never did scheduling. I did scheduling until I could hire somebody to do scheduling.
That's right.
You probably had 10 customers. I could probably do it at that level. And you got to what you're good at, what you're not good at. And for me, I'm definitely a strategic guy. And
a visionary guy.
Yeah, and as they call me, the visionary officer. That's why, again, you and I have talked about the whole robotics thing, and why I'm trying to put that out. Because again, one of the keys, and Kandi and I talk about this, is when things pop up and things change, you can either embrace it and try to figure out a way that you can gain from it, or you can complain. And so, so again, it's one of those things where, it's your point of view in terms of how to do it. And the thing is, you can sit and complain while your hours are going down, or you can look at it and say, okay, how do we make this, and how do we make something else do? And that's, and our bottom line, like, that I've heard a number of times, is if you're not improving, you're regressing. Yeah. And so,
100%. That's it. No, you're right, John. You're right. Yeah.
Kandi has certainly been that person that has continually pushed from paperless, from paperless to just cross training all the people in here. As far as that goes, we feel we're, a lot of people think we're overstaffed relative to other things, but I said sometimes it's, you got people that leave, you got people as they stay, they go on, they have vacation. You got, you got people they'll be sick. I said, again, it comes down to quality. People don't want to, what I learned from a prior place I was at, he says, this company will never have somebody not answer the phone, a person. Wow. Because you got to remember, the older people do not like voicemail jail.
That's right.
And so anyways, we've kind of lived to that largely in terms of that. And so again, that has been one of the things that we have subscribed to for the entire time. That again, this is the way it works. And so,
but you got to roll with the punches. You got to change. You got to change faster than everybody else, and you got to be better at it when you do change. And I think, for us, we move quick. And when I want to implement something, and John comes up with some genius idea, and I'm on board, then it moves fast.
Well, and again, we have this relationship where I always have a lot of good ideas. I mean, a lot of ideas, and even some of them are good. And so, it's always, for me, it's always about, if you never bring it up, good or bad, it's like, I bring stuff up and it's like, well, what do you think? I was just thinking about this. And sometimes you say, that really sounds good. Or sometimes she says, I don't think that's going to work for us. And so again, I'll call her at 10 o'clock at night, because by tomorrow morning, it'll be gone.
That's right. That's right.
So literally, it's like, we have that kind of relationship. As far as that goes, and so we're both looking for those things that have been, and I'll give you one thing that we haven't found it yet, but one of the things that I know a lot of people give out to the Alzheimer's Association and whatever else, and they a lot of people do a lot of great things, whatever else, and it's like we do a little donations from here and there, and what we're trying to find is something that is visiting angels. It's like, what's important to us is it has our name on it. When I give it to Alzheimer's, nobody knows who we are. For us around here, Home Instead is the big people with the Alzheimer's Association. The other owner, he's very involved with that. Life. Yeah, I mean, he does a great job. I mean, I got nothing bad to say about the guy. I mean, he is very instrumental in that. I mean, they are heavily involved in the whole walk and the whole thing.
We just want our own cutout that's something signature ours.
Right.
So,
good deal. That's smart.
We're trying to find that. We still haven't found that. We did try like a senior prom or something last year, which
was great.
Which was amazing. We just didn't make much money.
Wow.
It was a charitable thing too. So
okay.
Wasn't meant to be making money, but we would like to give them more money than they did.
Yes.
So anyway, we're trying to find things like that.
People just got to keep moving. You got to keep changing things up, and when it doesn't work, you just move on to the next thing. You can't cry about it,
And like you've talked to, I came back from a place. You get ideas from a lot of places. I went to this place, I don't know, in Cancun, or actually Playa del Carmen in Mexico.
Okay.
And one of the things there was somebody had told me, and all the employees get free phones, and they charge them like $10 a month, and it's like, oh geez, why can't we do that? And so but again, that's where that came from. I got it from.
Wow.
Thank you both, because we're on that program now.
Thank you, John and Kandi. And Kandi talked about it last week. Way to go, John. That's awesome. Thank you.
So anyway, it was one of those things. Where can we find something that's going to benefit our caregivers and keep them with us, and just help to take care of them? Because we all know, God, we wish we could, give them $50 an hour, but nobody would take the service, because we're caught in that thing of how much can we afford to pay, but at the same time, if we can find things that make a difference in their lives that can save them. I mean, we've had people, save $150 or $100 a month. To them. So that's $1,200 a year. So I mean, that all adds up. And the thing is, we consistently look for little differences. Like like our the little timeshare whatever travel program that we.
Wow.
Yeah. People can jump on a thing, and if you go to Orlando during May or September, you can pick up like a 2-bedroom condo at a Marriott for $400 for the week. Wow. For like $80 a night, you can go stay in a 2-bedroom condo at a Marriott resort. I mean, you're not going to be able to do that.
That program is awesome. We have something similar. Yeah.
Wow.
We'd like to hear about yours too, because
no. We're gonna have to. That's something we may have to call John and Kandi just to find out more. But go ahead, share what we got with John. They want to hear about it. Share it.
Oh, unlimited vacations. That's what we have.
what is it?
Unlimited vacations.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the name of the
Oh,
Yeah,
program.
John can, Kandi, you can certainly,
Yeah, I'm gonna email you about that, Joe,
Yeah,
so I
'cause
can
that
get a
way
little bit of
you
detail on
can,
that.
you can know what she has as well because
Mhm.
but I think these things like you're talking about, John and Ken, these things are so important though because it's all about how do you empower and make these folks feel worthy, right? I mean, because
Sure.
I mean there are people out there. I mean, there are arms and our feet out there, right? And these are the ones that go out there, so we can take care of these people and show them some love, as it were. I mean, we're gonna get it back.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you again, it's sometimes when you're in the ivory tower, you forget what it's like. I mean, I remember early on, it's like, somebody didn't show up. The last thing they wanted was me to come around. And I ended up, I mean, I walked dogs, because, that needed to happen. I sat with somebody else so I could get a caregiver there. It was like, do whatever you need to do in order to make that happen,
And we still do that.
And people would never call me a caregiver. I mean, that was, I'm caring, but not necessarily a caregiver.
Yeah.
I have no kids of my own. And so I never had that experience, from that standpoint, but nonetheless, I still care a lot about what had happens. And I will tell you, I just was back in Mexico. My wife is Mexican.
Okay.
We went back to Mexico. Her mom is 90 years old and she has a 24-hour caregiver with her.
Okay.
And it was just, and her mom is not the nicest person in the world. She ran businesses by herself, but she's very self-assured. And so anyway, but it was tough. I mean, I felt for the caregiver, who had to do everything, and it was tough. And there was nothing positive except from the people around her, because her mama never had a lot of positive things to say about the caregiver, and a lot of the caregivers have left. But this one somehow stays all the time. And so it reminds you why we're all here. It reminds you to respect the job that most of them have to do. I mean, it's not just sitting in a dark, sitting at night, with somebody. It is, and doing your college homework. It is. These people are demanding and difficult in some cases. And if you have one of those, it's like, they need help too. And so it's you got to just appreciate those people for the job they do. Yeah. And then also you have to remind your clients that, because they get stuck in the ivory tower syndrome too, that, I mean, Kandi tells them it's like, we, you have these hospital things where you have people with Alzheimer's and you have to have them sitting right there, and they put them in a dark room.
I know.
You can't do anything, and they have, spend all night, but don't fall asleep.
I know. Exactly.
What is reality?
Let's talk about reality.
Yeah. So that's what Kandi has to explain them. It's like, is this something you can do?
Yeah.
If you think,
good question, Kandi. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, because these are human beings too. We gotta just treat these people something. I mean, but the thing is that the world out there is these folks a lot, and unfortunately, sometimes with these clients, they go through so much pain of their own, right? That the caregiver is the closest person they can kind of express that vent, if you will, to them. That's sort of the challenge, because I mean, we also, I mean, and we know this, that you guys know this just like we do, that sometimes we're almost the only family member there for the client, right? I mean, they have no one but us. It's I just again here. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say one other thing. We've always stressed is performance, and I always tell Kandi, I said, pick out the 25, 50, 75, whatever the number is that these are the ones you want to go to war with. These are the ones that you do not want to lose. We all have, caregivers we hope are, from a 5 to a 10. Sometimes, you end up with some less than that and whatever else. But, what are the ones under that 7 to 10, that the ones that you're always getting the very compliments on, the ones that are very caring, the ones that are this, they're not there to just do their homework, spend time. They do the absolute minimum. These are the ones that really are what your agency is all about. And so
yes,
those I said those are the ones we reward. Those are the ones when it comes to bonuses. We give out bonuses at the end of the year before Christmas so that they can have money to spend for Christmas. Yeah, even though we don't know we don't know what the final numbers are till obviously this time of year, maybe a little March, but we know we've had a good year or a bad year. Plus, I will tell you, Paul, the way I look at things is, and I tell Kandi this too, it's like I would much rather them have more money than me have more money, because if I have more money, they're just going to get more taxes. Yeah, and so if I can give more money to them and I get, that's going to make me more money in the long run, and it's going to make my company stronger.
Right.
So
I agree.
Again,
that's why you're the strategist, right?
That's exactly, that's your strategy comes in, Kandi. John. Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
What thing with Johnny?
Yeah.
No,
So
please go ahead.
It's not about, again, it's all about performance. And you know how people all, you give this has been my pet peeve, you get the annual raises. It's like, well, we don't give annual raises. You get a bonus for being there a year. If you're good, we'll give you a raise. That's what Kandi decides. The other thing is I said, it doesn't, when I was here, I said, it's not for me to give you a raise. The people that I need to ask for raises are the people that are asking them to work that night, because those are the people I'm going to go to and say, who's going to get bonuses? They're the people that decide. I don't decide. Yeah. I tell Kandi, give me a list. She tells it. She gets with the people in the office, and they're the ones that decide who gets the bonuses. And we make that well known is the people that you're going to say no to, that I'm not going to work, are the same ones that are going to decide whether or not you get a bonus at the end of the year. And bonuses can be $1,500, depending upon where you're at in the order. So we try to give them the power. The people that are that are asking for your help, we give them the power to decide who is going to get a bonus or not. Kandi and I, they don't. Who cares? Who cares if we give a whatever? We're not important. Those people in the office.
There you go. That's awesome. So you sort of inverted a triangle too, haven't you? That's what you've done. You put them up top and you down there. So awesome. Well, thank you so much. Servant leadership is what I hear. Servant leadership. So thank you all so much. Well, I think that's all we've got. Thank you again, John and Kandi. I know you guys run a successful agency for many decades now, and to take the time to meet with us is not usually easy. It's not easy because you're busy people. But with that, John and I are so grateful to you for taking the time to sit and chat with us here.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Home Care Millionaire Podcast. We hope you found inspiration, encouragement, and practical tools you can apply right away in your own journey. Our mission is simple, folks: to shine a light on the incredible impact that home care owners and their caregivers make every single day, and to give you the mindset, strategies, and faith-filled wisdom to build both purpose and prosperity.
Because here is what we believe: compassion is your calling, wealth is your reward. If this episode spoke to you, we'd love for you to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you like more resources or have questions for Paul and I, just head over to askjohnandpaul.com. We'll be honored to connect with you there.
Until next time, folks, remember, you have what it takes to build wealth, create freedom, and leave a legacy through your agency. We're here cheering you on every step of the way. Bye for now.